Welcome to, there we go. Welcome to the training that we're going to be doing tonight on fundraising. And Carolyn, you are logged in, so you did it absolutely correct. You are in. Welcome to all of you who are joining in on the training that we're doing tonight. We're going to be doing it in two parts on fundraising. So tonight we're going to be focusing on where you should be in your campaign right now if your election is in November. So right now you should be contacting, hey, hello, how are you? Right now you should be contacting your, your beginning seed money people, that kind of thing, and getting that set. And those should be kind of, the activities that you're doing right now. So we're going to go through where you should be in your campaign right now for fundraising. And if you're a little behind, that's okay, because now is the time to catch up. Okay, so for November races between now and like the end of February, thank you. The end of February, you should raise about a quarter to 1/3 of your budget. And you're collecting petitions, Joe. That is good. Yes, that's it. You can't get on the ballot until you get on the ballot, right? So between now and the end of February, you should be raising about a quarter to 1/3 of your budget. Reason being, you can't split up your budget goal amounts to all the months equally. You have to calculate that in July and August, you're simply not going to raise much of anything at all. That is an absolute dead time in fundraising, so keep that in mind when you're doing those calculations. So a question is asked, how do you calculate your budget? So to calculate your budget to see if you'll be competitive in your race, a rule of thumb, general rule of thumb is if you take the winner and the runner-up in the race that you're running for, what they spent total, and add them together in the last 3 elections, so that's 6 numbers. Last 3 elections, winner, runner-up, add them all together, divide by 6. That's going to give you an average of what you need to be competitive in that race. Okay? Can you trade money for volunteer hours? You can to a certain extent, absolutely. So, keep that in mind. What you should be doing right now, and if you haven't accomplished this yet, this is something you're going to want to start as quickly as possible. So you're going to want to gather your seed money right now, that money that you need to start your campaign. What you're going to do is you're going to list out, and I'll go through this quickly because some of you have heard this before. Others that are new to the training, you haven't heard it, but I'll go through it fairly quickly so that we can get into how do you get past your seed money. Don't plan on raising, but worry about FEC paperwork. So if you are worried about FEC paperwork, and that is a good question, the person to ask at LP National, and he knows it frontwards and backwards, is Bob Johnston. That's with a T. So it's bob.johnston at lphq.org. So that's the person that you would contact, and he will walk you through your FEC paperwork. So no worries on that. So what you're going to do to raise your seed money is you're going to list out 100 people that you know who wish you well. That is the only criteria. Okay? Don't place any other criteria on that. Don't worry about if they can give money, can't give money, any of those things. 100 people you know who wish you well. If you're wondering, where do I find these people? Of course, you start listing your family first, and then you list your close friends, list your business associates, list people you know from the gym, list people that you're in organizations with. Go through your email, and who do you send and receive emails from? Those might be good people. Check your social media and ask some of those people. So that's going to be the list, and then you're going to get their phone number and physical address and email for each of those people. And get that listed out. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to divide them into 2 groups, and we're going to focus on the fundraising portion of this. So I'm going to tell you just the fundraising portion of it. So you're going to divide them into 2 groups. People you can easily visit, people who live too far away and so you'd need to do a phone call. So you're going to label them either visit or call. Okay. For people, you're going to do one more listing out. People that you think have a combined household income of $100,000 or more, and people who have a combined household income of $99,000 a year or less. For the people who you think have a higher capacity, they're in that $100,000 or more, and live close enough to you to visit, that's your number 1 priority. So those are the people that you're going to visit first. Don't make it overly formal. Don't make it weird. Remember, these are people who wish you well. Just ask if you can have a few minutes of their time, catch them at a casual time. If it's better that you call them and you're pretty good friends, that's fine. If you're associates, you know them, they know you, but you're not besties. You might want to have a face-to-face conversation with them. And you're going to make your ask. And that's going to be your seed money ask. And your ask is, I wanted to tell you about something exciting that's going on in my life. I'm looking at running for, for example, city council. So, that's your opening that you're going to give them. Next thing that you're going to do in that conversation is you're going to say why you're running, just a sentence or 2, what you hope to accomplish, and then you're going to ask them to support you. And you can either name a specific amount or you can leave that open-ended. My suggestion is you do a specific amount. Ask an amount that you think they could do. And then after you ask that, just sit and wait quietly, because they'll probably have questions for you. And they may say things like, God, that's great. Or they might say, that's absolutely crazy. I don't understand why you're doing this. That's okay too. It's a conversation that you're having with someone you know. Just have that conversation. But after you make the ask, be silent. Let them process that information. For the people that are on your higher capacity and call, of course, you're going to call them. For people that are on a lower capacity, those are calls. Probably not visits unless you're going to run into them. But those are people that you're going to call. Don't email them. Don't hit them up on social media. Call them. Tell them about the exciting thing that's happening in your life. And don't assume that they know or that they've heard. Sometimes we assume, well, everyone knows I'm running for office. Well, they probably don't. So let them know. Let them know about this cool, exciting thing that's happening in your life. And then give them the opportunity to wish you well and support you. So that's the very first kind of group that you're looking at to fundraise. That's going to get you your seed money. But now we're going to look past your seed money. Okay, so to look past your seed money, why am I such a badass? I don't know, but thank you. So now we're going to look past that seed money. And to do that, I'm going to let you in on a little bit of information. Most libertarians will raise the majority of their money through online solicitations, either email or social media or that type of thing, right? I have news for you. If you are doing that, you've only raised 10% of your fundraising potential. So if your campaign has raised $1,000 and you've done it primarily through email and social media, there's $9,000 more out there that is absolutely out there for you. Absolutely 100% out there for you. So 10%, I'll put that up there, 10% you raise through online donations, email, social media. 15% you can raise through events. And we'll go through different events and their functions, both for getting volunteers, voters, and fundraising on another one. We'll do a deep dive into different types of events and how to do that. 15% is your finance committee. Your finance committee is not your treasurer. It's also not your campaign volunteers. Your finance committee are people who gave you a large donation, and after they give you that large donation, you ask them, would you like to be part of my campaign finance committee? When they say, well, what does that entail? What that entails is they're going to introduce you to people like them, other people like them, either in that career field or that run in those circles. So people who have an interest in supporting the types of things that you do and have the capacity to do so tend to run around with each other. They know each other. So this doesn't mean that they give you a list of names. It means they give you an actual introduction. They may even go to the meeting with you. So that's your finance committee. But 60% of your fundraising is done by the candidate through direct asks. That is you making those asks. So that gives you some of the numbers that you should be aware of for fundraising. So let's talk about expanding your donor pool now, right? So for the next week, I want you to, if you haven't already, absolutely make sure you work those 100 people. Contact every single one of them. Like, that's your homework if you haven't already done that. If you have already done that, next step is to expand your donor pool. So how do you expand your donor pool? How do you get past the immediate people that you know? Okay. And you have to, right? If you want to be competitive, because the general rule is candidates who outraise their competitors win the race. That's just how it is. It's not how it always is, but it is a truism for a reason. Also, everyone on your campaign team, no matter what their title, is a fundraiser. They are going to help you fundraise, whether that means that they research or help you set appointments, or they directly solicit people, or they introduce you to people, whatever it is. Also, by their actions, they can turn donors off. So if your campaign team is shitposting on Facebook or trashing on people, they're costing you money. Tell them to stop. And how does a candidate do a direct ask? We are going to get to how you do a direct ask. Absolutely. I'm going to walk you through how you do a direct ask. So we're going to get there. Candidates should spend between now and, oh, you keep losing sound? Who else keeps losing sound? Is it not good for others? Let me know. So in the chat, let me know if the sound is cutting out. Just gets a little muffled. It's true, your mic fades in and out sometimes. Urgh. Let's see if I can adjust that slightly. Let me hit my settings. More of an echo. Got it. Let's see if that perhaps helps. We'll see. I'm also going to hit, that's off, and that's off. All right, hopefully that helps. We'll cross our fingers on that. So candidates should spend about 50% of their time between now and probably the next 2 months directly asking for money. That's 50% of your time as a minimum. That's what you should spend. Once you start field operations, which is door knocking or phone banking or hitting events and that kind of stuff, it drops to about 30%, but that's still going to be a big chunk of your time is going to be spent fundraising. So there's seven ways that you can fundraise, 7 kind of channels if you want to do it. So a personal ask, which you're going to do a lot of. Direct mail, which you're not going to have time for. It's not effective for this type of campaign this quickly. Your finance committee, PACs, and PACs are starting to give money to libertarians, so start investigating them. Events, internet. So use as many as you can, and because not everyone is attuned to the same channel. So you want to do as many asks as possible in all of your various channels. So in looking at expanding your database, some people look immediately to the party. The party is not going to fund your campaign. That's just how it is. Any party is not going to fund your campaign. So that's pretty normal. PACs will fund your campaign if you show you are a successful fundraiser. So fundraise first, show success in that, then approach your PAC, and the PAC will most likely then give money. If you are going to a PAC and you haven't really raised much money or any money, forget it. It's not going to happen. Okay? So you want to have that strong fundraising before you do a PAC. So we talked about friends and family. The next branch out that you're going to go is friends of family members. So you're going to ask your family members after they support you. Okay, which one of your friends can help me or support me in my campaign? Could you introduce me? And again, you're not asking for a list of names. You're asking for an introduction. Next one you're going to do is family members of friends. So that flips it around, right? So you're going to be asking friends to introduce you to family members, their family members, who may be supportive of your campaign. Next, you're going to look at your organizations you belong to, chamber, gun club, whatever it is, your church group, I don't care, whatever it is. Your allied organizations and their members. So if there's an allied organization like Normal or something like that, an association for people who want to legalize raw milk, that's who you're going to want to go to. You're also going to talk to leadership of organizations, and you're going to want to meet with them in person. They might send out an appeal to their organization on your behalf. Business associates, might be your spouse's business associates, depending. The next branch outers are those PACs. So you've done your successful seed money. Now you're going to start to look at PACs. Remember, do that fundraising first and look at your PAC. They may endorse you and not give you money. They may send volunteers out to assist you. They may give you cash. And it just depends. But, definitely start to investigate PACs and, be a little more gutsy about approaching them. For instance, I got $100 or $500 from a PAC that was Women Winning. And that's a PAC that supports pro-choice candidates, and they don't care what level. So, I'm sure there's ones for pro-life candidates, so check into those. Your finance committee. Remember, you got a large donation from someone, so now you're going to go through your finance committee and ask them, who can you introduce me to? The next thing that I would do to look for is I would look for new residents in your area, which you can find out through a friendly realtor. So find out who those new residents are that have moved to your area. Introduce yourself. Don't ask for money on the first introduction. But those are going to go into your prospecting pool. You can also use petitioning. And I don't mean petitioning to get on the ballot. What I mean is policy positions. You can put on social media, if this makes you angry, sign this petition. Or if you support legalizing recreational marijuana, sign this petition. And that petition is a petition, and you do need to collect that and hand it in, but those are also names and information that you can use for your prospecting. So that goes into your prospecting pool and expands out past just the people that you know. Right? Sign me up for that, please. Okay. So every name that you add is a suspect. That's how they start out. Once they show interest, they're a prospect. Once they give money or volunteer, they become donors. So that's how you move people through that process. So maximizing your donor pool. Half of your donors will give again. Most of them will donate a third time. So this is numbers to consider. You have a pool of 250 prospects, okay? And 5 of them donate $25, and so you get $125 from that first solicitation. You resolicit that list after about 3 to 6 weeks. Okay, at that point, more people become donors and just under half give again. So you have 25 new people give a donation. You have 2 repeat donations, and they give $625 total. Because each time you solicit a list, you usually do get more donations. 3 to 6 weeks after that, you solicit this group again. You have 13 people that give money again, right? 37 new people that are donating, and they're donating various amounts, but they give about $12.50 that time. And I got a wrong number on there. I need one more zero. So you raised $2,000 from the original prospect pool of 250 people, and that's how a repeat donation goes. And you want to keep adding people into that prospecting pool. So you want to keep resoliciting, and don't think that you're bothering people too much. Keep adding new people into your donation pool and keep soliciting. Again, half are going to give a second time. The majority of those who give a second time will give a third time. So now we're going to get into the question that you had asked, which is, how do you do a direct ask? Why do people give money? So just because a person has money doesn't mean that they have to hand it over to you or they're going to give it to you. Okay, so here's some tips for pitching to donors. Whether it's a small donor, large donor, it really doesn't matter. But you can apply this to large donors too, but we'll go into large donors on another one, probably the next one, and we'll get into detail on how to do those large asks. So why do people give money? Because they wish you well, right? Ego. They're giving because they have a belief or fear. They have a habit of donating. People that donate to one thing tend to donate to another thing. People that don't donate, it's hard to get them to donate the first time. There's some type of peer pressure. They feel peer pressure to donate. They want to affect policy through you. But the biggest reason, they were asked. That's the biggest reason why people donate money. They were asked. Okay, so why do people not donate? They feel exploited. You convey insincerity. You lack conviction. Your appeal is unrealistic or vague. They don't think you can do it, or they think, I don't even know what you're doing or what you're going to accomplish or that kind of thing. They have doubt in you. The appeal is from the wrong person. You aren't seen as a viable candidate, or your goal for winning, if your goal is not to win the election and you have a different type of goal, which is fine, they think that goal is not viable. But the biggest one is they weren't asked. So again, it's all about asking. So before you ask someone for money, it's helpful if you know some things. How much money can they donate? You can do that by looking up, finding out what type of job or career they have, and then finding out, what's the average salary for that. That kind of gives you an idea. Do they have capacity to donate? Have they donated to candidates in the past? What are their wants, needs, and desires? If you look them up on social media real quick, what are they saying? What things are they interested in? And does that parallel with something you're working on in your candidacy? What are their emotional triggers, both good and bad? Because you don't want to put your foot in it, right? How do they make decisions on whom they support? They may have some type of criteria for whom they support. And it could be as simple as they only support ballot initiative candidates. They only support local level candidates. They only support prior veterans, or conversely, they will only support people who have never been in the military. It just depends. So, you can find out what that is. And you can ask people ahead of time if you're going to do a larger ask. What is your criteria for deciding whom you support? How do they prefer that you communicate with them? If they hate the phone, and I mean hate the phone because there's a lot of people that hate the phone, don't call them. So find out how they prefer you communicate with them. And that's usually by asking, how do you prefer I communicate with you? It's very simple. So crafting your message to do the ask. This is where we're going to get into that now. So you need to define your message, and you need to offer solutions. Improving now. Yep. So what do you see yourself accomplishing during your time in office? Okay, so write that out. What do you see yourself accomplishing? What concrete way can you improve people's lives or solve their challenges? You have to know that. What do you need to do to achieve that once you get into office? Because once you get into office, that's only half the battle. What will it cost to get you into office? So those are the things you need to know, okay? Write those out, get those set. Now you need to have a story which illustrates or inspires why achieving the goals is so important. It can be your story, it can be someone's personal story, but it does need to be simple, clear, concise, passionate, and honest. This is where you do an emotional trigger with this story. And the story can be as simple as a local candidate is going to run for city council, and they could have this story if it is their story. I was playing in my backyard with my children, and we were having a great time, and I overpitched the ball, and the ball rolled through our backyard and right back out into the street, because our backyard and our front yard actually face streets. And my child took off running after the ball, and I was yelling, and I ran after my child, and I was having these visions of my child dying in front of my eyes. And I reached her, and nothing happened, but it crystallized for me this instant anger that I felt after the relief. And the anger was, City Council said that I couldn't build a fence on my back line because it faces a street. And so because of some arbitrary rule over how something looks and how it appears, my child could have been injured just because they're worried about aesthetics. And that has spurred me to run for city council, because so many of our regulations and codes are about appearances and not about safety. And in fact, they make our city a less safe place. So you can have a story like that. That is not my story. That is a story from another candidate. But that type of emotional story can really, really connect with someone. And even if that is not an issue that they felt passionate about, they could see the type of person you are and what you're trying to do. And thank you for the follows. Thank you, Very Credible Hulk, for the follow. So now we're going to get to how do you do a pitch, like the actual pitch. You've gotten past the emotional story of why you're running. Now it's the pitch. So I'm going to break it into pieces on that top part where I said about crafting your message and what can you accomplish, how do you need to achieve that? How are you going to actually get the forces marshaled while you're in office to get that done? How much is it going to cost? How does that go? Okay. So how that pitch goes is, first is why is this so important? What's the challenge? Okay? Could be our city is starting to decline, the average property values are falling, and businesses are leaving. To reverse course, we need to eliminate business zoning, get rid of any regulations that aren't strictly safety based, and retrain city staff to stop saying no to development and to start saying, how can we work together on this? That's the first part. Second part is, how are you different from your other competitors? I've been meeting with developers, policy experts, and other city council members. I have a coalition ready to move forward with this on the very day I'm sworn in. Okay? Now we get to what can the donor do to help? So you're putting it in the terms of the impact they can make through you. So if you donate, you will help open up our city to redevelopment and revitalize it. And now you're getting to the ask. Have your ask be specific. The more specific you are, the better the chance that someone will donate. The ask is, the maximum donation is $5,000. Is that something you're comfortable with? And then you close your mouth and you don't say another effing word. Right? They may have questions. They'll ask them. But let me show you what is not a question and what is not an answer. When they do this, I don't know. I got some things coming up. Well, okay, that's not an answer. Don't speak. That's someone thinking out loud. Let them process that information. That's fine. And thank you for the follow. So what you want to do is wait for this. They're thinking, they're talking out loud, they're processing, and then they snap their eyes back to you. When they snap their eyes back to your eyes, that's when they're giving you an answer or they're asking a question. So wait for that. Wait for it patiently. You will feel like you are waiting for 5 years. It will feel uncomfortable. You will want to talk. Don't do so. Patiently wait. If they say no, this is not the end. This is not a no. This is an opportunity for you to craft your pitch better for the next time. So if they say no, thank them and then say, forgive me for asking, but I thought that you would donate. And I'm not asking you to do so, but I would like to improve and also make sure that I'm on the right track. And I'm hoping you can help me. Is it my solution that gives you pause? Or you can say policy position or whatever. And then wait. And they may say, yeah, actually, I think that's awful or unrealistic or whatever. But now you have information and feedback, right? So you can perhaps change or craft your policy in a better way, change your presentation a little bit. If they say, no, actually, that's not bad. Okay. Is it the timing for giving a donation? They may say yes. Okay, not a problem. Get a pledge from them for a future date, and then remember to follow up at that later date. If they're saying no, the time, it's not the timing. Is it my campaign plan or my viability as a candidate? And then pause and wait. And they may say, yeah, I don't like your campaign plan, or, I don't think you're going to achieve this, or, whatever it is, and give you feedback. And if they give you that feedback, ask, what would you change? What do you think would give me a better chance at being elected? They may have a really good idea. At the very end, it may be they just didn't like you as a person. There's no accounting for taste. Not everyone can give you the love. But it may be, I actually like your policy positions. It's not a bad time. I don't think your plan is a bad one. But you are sweaty and shaking like a freezing chihuahua. And that does not inspire confidence in me because you are clearly nervous and freaking out. Okay, then you know that that's the part that you need to polish and alter. Okay, so clean up your presentation, learn from each time that you do this ask, and then you'll be set. So we'll go through that ask one last time. It won't be that I'm awesome. Well, hell yes, Joe, you are awesome. Okay, so how does the ask go? Okay, our city is starting to decline. Average property values are falling and businesses are starting to leave. So to reverse this course, we need to eliminate business zoning and focus strictly on just safety-based regulations. And we also need to retrain city staff to stop saying no to development and to start saying, how can we work on this together? I've been working with developers and policy experts and the other city council members. And I have a coalition ready to move forward on this on the very day I'm sworn in. If you donate, you'll help open up our city to redevelopment and revitalize it. The maximum donation is $5,000. Is that something you're comfortable with? And then you pause and wait. Okay, so do you see how that type of ask goes? Does anybody have any questions over this part of fundraising? Because we're going to stop at this section. Next week, we're going to go into how to do strictly major donor asks. How do you find major donors? How do you prep for major donors? And how do you do those asks? Any questions? You can get a hold of me if you find out you have questions later. I will get that contact information up there so that you have that. And let's see. And also, if you want to run for office, go to lp.org. And when you go to the bottom, it will say run for office. Yes. Good. I want you to try this out, Joe. I'm excited for you guys to try this out too. And I do want you to give me feedback on if you tried it, how it went, things you would change, that type of thing, information you want. So, yeah. So, if you want to run for office, for the Libertarian office, and yes, I will give you the list of information as well. Definitely. I'll give you my contact information. And when I give you, next week, I will have the lists of information as well. So lp.org. Yes. lp.org. Go to the bottom, and Baby Yoda says, hit the run for office, and then filled out the content information. So, yep, and I will get that 7 ways to fundraise. No questions, but thank you. Got to email some record. Yep, and I hate asking for money. So, yep, I know. But here's the thing. So, I want you to change your attitude about soliciting donations. Soliciting donations isn't bothering people. And I know people are like, oh, I got to contact people and ask them for money. That's not what you're doing. What you're doing is you're contacting people with something you can accomplish and that they can accomplish, and you guys get to work together. And you're just seeing it's an opportunity that you're presenting to them if they want to get together. Yes. So, to put another way, most of you have probably asked someone to volunteer for something, right? When you ask someone to volunteer for something, you've asked them to give you moments of their life they will never get back. Ever. They will never get that time back. It's gone forever. Money you can make again. They can make again. But that time, they can't ever get that back. So why do we feel more comfortable asking people to give moments of their life that they will never, ever, ever get back? And we're uncomfortable asking them for money, which they can make more of. So have those two thoughts in your mind, to adjust how you think about asking people for money. Exactly. You're soliciting for a convention. Yep, absolutely. So, yeah, it's okay when you're soliciting for the convention. It is. This is the great opportunity. These are the things we're going to accomplish. Let's work on it together. I'm going to be doing the work, and you're going to be donating some money so that we can make this happen, and we all win. Yay! So, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you all joining me. I will be on doing candidate training every Monday at the same time, and I'll be doing this on Twitch. On Wednesdays, I usually go over libertarians caught being good. I point out really good examples of libertarian behavior. I also go over either news or some policy things that are coming up from a libertarian point of view. And then Fridays, although it won't be this Friday, on Fridays I just shake up a cocktail and drink 3 of them and do pop culture. That's just purely fun. So thank you all for joining me. I really, 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 really appreciate it. This was fantastic.